come up with the new constitution of 2013 was the realization that by then we had a dictator who wanted to rule for the rest of his life. And we had a dictator who had also captured the judiciary institution as well as other arms of the state, exhibiting ruthlessness, especially to those who betrayed him. And one of the achievements of the 2013 constitution, firstly, it was, the independence of the judiciary, which Emerson Mnangagwa took away as soon as he was actually the president through the coup of 2017. Of course, that is factual. And also part of the achievements of the 2013 constitution, amongst others, such as the Bill of Rights and everything, was the fact that the constitution limited the terms of any sitting president. The people of Zimbabwe, in their numbers, called for a president to serve not more than 2 terms. And that was the greatest achievements amongst many achievements, such as also recognition of other languages, because since 1980 up to 2013, I think there were only 3 official languages. That is Shona language, English language, as well as Ndebele language. But the Constitution of 2013 spoke loudly and clearly that they needed actually other languages to be equally respected because those individuals existed in the country. We saw languages such as Xhosa and others being incorporated, as well as Kalanga, many other languages into the curriculum. Of course, the pace has been slow in terms of mainstreaming them and making sure that all these languages and cultural diversities are actually respected as per the 2013 constitution. We have seen Mnangagwa coming after the very same constitution. We have seen Mnangagwa aligning the laws that are in contradiction with the wishes of the people, especially when they voted in numbers for the Constitution of 2013. And it is seen that Mnangagwa to act, in fact, if he is allowed to extend his term of office up to 2030, it means that constitution would have been teared apart and thrown in the bin. Already there are numerous laws that he has put in place that undermines the very same constitution that people heavily invested their efforts into. So one of the opposition leaders, that is none other than Job Sikhala, a man who has been at the receiving end, especially from the Emerson Mnangagwa cabal. He had to spend almost 2 years in prison because he was suspected to be working with retired General Chiwenga faction. That is part of the reasons why Job Sikhala, in fact, he confessed to that. It's not coming from me. He said part of the reason why he was kept so long, it is because Mnangagwa believed that he was working with retired General Chiwenga. Now, the brave Job Sikhala is one of the opposition political party leaders that now people have to overlook at whether they like or they hate each other as political players. Now people have to come. Let me read his tweet that he tweeted yesterday. He says, it's no longer about whether we like each other or not. It is about Zimbabwe and the democratic future of our nation. 2030 nonsense must be stopped. You see, this was a short and precise tweet on X account of Job Sikhala. Pregnant and contextual, looking at the current political setting in Zimbabwe at the moment. So what Job Sikhala is simply saying he is saying even if people are enemies, when it comes to the term extension of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, they have to unite and stop that. Because once Mnangagwa gets away with this, then he would be unstoppable. He would act, if he can tear this constitution in terms of the extension of his term, then more draconian laws like the Mopo Act, as well as the Criminal Law and Codification Act and others that he is actually using. You see, sometimes when when we say to people, I mean, when we criticize, especially the laws that are enacted in a country, someone would be thinking, no, some people would be responding based on their political parties. That should not be the fact. You should not look at the moment. They are ZANU-PF members whom Mnangagwa is charging them using the criminal codification law, which is popularly known as, the Patriotic Act, that we strongly objected to because it was nothing less than a political tool to be used, especially against those who oppose the government. I think a government that is elected by the people, if I am elected by the people, I will get to respect the people because I know people are my bosses. So in Zimbabwe at the moment, Mnangagwa has by far, done worse than what Robert Gabriel Mugabe did. At least Robert Gabriel Mugabe was abusing people, but he would try to justify it with the constitution, as bad as it was, but he would try to align everything with the constitution. Even if he rigged the elections, he will conduct elections, of course, send the military to do the dirty work, but he will conduct election. Now, when it comes to Mnangagwa, he wants to abort the process of elections. Not only did Mugabe do that, of course, he would rig in some constituencies, but he always allowed the opposition to exist during his period. You know, that is an element that is lacking from Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa has destroyed the opposition. CCC MPs who are in parliament now, whether they like it or not, they are aiding the interest of Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa. All of them under Sengezo Chabangu, they would be forced, whether they like it or not. I've seen some defending themselves that they are not part of what Sengezo Chabangu did and blah, 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 blah. But whether they explain it, but the truth of the matter is there is an agreement that these CCC members of parliament, as well as also the senators, they will actually pass this, backdoor, process of extending the term of office of Emerson Dambudzo. They will pass some bills, and one way or the other, they would be expected to actually approve those bills. Now, if that and the benefits, obviously, we know that as long as Mnangagwa stays for 10 or so years, they will also be guaranteed of their jobs. That is why most of them, they have agreed to this evil. And that is why you saw Mthuli Ncube, when they demanded cars numerous times, he would actually jump up and make sure that he gives them those cars, because these are the people, most of them who have been bought. Let me not say all of them. Maybe there may be one or two who are not involved, but most of them, they know that being in that parliament at the moment under CCC, whose leader has actually decided to vacate, and other leaders who tried to take control of it, they have decided also to step aside. Now CCC is under the influence of Sengezo Chabangu. The man who came from Norway, obviously brought in through the ideas of Professor Jonathan Moyo. destroyed the party left, right, and center. So now, and that, by the way, I think I must say this, I didn't expect to say it. This action by Sengizo Shabang, although it was an evil action, but now it exposed Emerson Tambuzo Mnangagwa. It left him now confronted with internal dynamics. We would not have actually focused more on the internal dynamics of ZANU-PF if Sengizo Chabangu did not come into the picture. That is why I also tend to question Professor Jonathan Moyo assisting Emerson Tambuzo Mnangagwa at the same time. Because if Professor Jonathan Moyo is acting genuinely, if he is acting genuinely, I'm just thinking, why then is he not brought back to Zimbabwe and be offered protection by Mnangagwa, as we see him doing to the Zwikanandas? I mean, they cannot fear retired General Chwenga at the moment, because Mnangagwa is currently technically in charge of all of the state institutions. Let's put it that way. Why then is Professor Jonathan Moyo supporting Mnangagwa outside the country? That is a political scientist. He may be actually be cooking something, knowing that it will backfire for Emerson Mnangagwa, creating problems left, right, and center for Emerson Mnangagwa, so that at the end of the day, he looks at him and laughs at him for actually following his trap. There is a high probability Jonathan Moyo may be doing what he is doing because he understands the political end. He understands that it would not be possible for Emerson Mnangagwa to get away with it. He is doing exactly what he did to Robert Gabriel Mugabe. People thought Robert Gabriel Mugabe was strong until the last day, until we saw the tanks occupying the streets of Zimbabwe. So, anyway, let me go back to the topic. So I was speaking about, Sikhala, calling for opposition. He's simply calling for all Zimbabweans that now, even if we hate each other, even if you hate the retired General Chwenga faction, even if you hate Nelson Chamisa, even if you hate Job Sikhala, but people should unite now to defend the Constitution and say no and raise their loud voice that they are against the implementation of the so-called resolution number 1 by unpopular individuals like Ziambi, who are not electable. It's very, very difficult to elect an individual like Ziambi. He's not a likable character, and that is why Mnangagwa enjoys using such people, because he is the same. He is the same, so there is absolutely no difference. So it is important at the moment, looking at what Zwikanandas are aiming to do, for the people of Zimbabwe to unite to protect the very, very legally democracy that exists at the moment. Otherwise, if not, Mnangagwa will get away with everything. And I'm telling you, this man was not gifted politically. Now, this man was not gifted politically. This man is not by luck. I mean, it's bad luck that he even became the president. It's a bad, serious bad luck. Look, the very first time he was elected, he had to step on dead bodies. He had to sacrifice people, kill people, while it's being watched by the members of the international community. Now, how do you expect to have a good start starting like that as a so-called leader? That on its own was a clear indication that and ever since he came through, I mean, Zimbabweans have suffered like never before. At least before he started to matter the military generals, it was better because they were maybe controlling him to some extent. But at the moment when he thinks he has actually cleared his path towards 2030, appears to be doing much, especially the bills that have been passed after 2018, the MOPO Act, criminal codification, it's called the what, which actually prohibits people. A good leader should allow to be criticized. A good leader should allow. We will continue criticizing. I'm also a leader. You see, when I sit with people I lead, we have been able to produce great things because they criticize me. Criticism is good, it builds you. But in Zimbabwe, this thing of, what destroys the politics of Zimbabwe is calling someone Baba, hey, Baba, whatever, Baba Mugabe. You call someone your father. Eh? You call someone your father who did not give birth to you over my dead body. That should not, people should be called by their names or the title that he has been elected. If you are a president so and so, and you should be criticized, especially because people are your bosses. They are the ones who elect you. They are the ones who put you in positions of power. They should be in a position to criticize you. It shouldn't actually attract death to be criticized, as it is in Zimbabwe. Look, people have been speaking against 2030. They wanted to be involved in a peaceful march. What is the regime doing? It is rounding them up, invading their privacy, going to their social media account, posting their pictures, endangering their lives. It shouldn't be like that in a democratic country. It is so because we are led by a dictator, a heartless one, on that matter. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we film live,